pillows, blankets, food for 4 days, water, portable toilet, soap, extra gas, maps, flashlights.
During the era of Jim Crow, it was imperative that African Americans pack everything they could possibly need when they traveled, for they didn't know if they'd be able to find a place to eat, sleep, or even go to the bathroom. That was until the most widely circulated African American travel guide, the Green Book, provided a list of businesses that accepted African Americans. As a mark of its significance, the Green Book soon became known as the Bible of Black travel. One of those sites was located in Steuben County in northeastern Indiana, which to this day is defined by a glacier-given natural beauty. As Cold Springs Resort, located on Hamilton Lake, describes it,
Steuben County, with more than 101 lakes, creeks, and navigable rivers, is the mecca for outdoor activities in the tri-state area.
In the 1920s, white investors who saw an increasing appetite for travel by a growing number of affluent African Americans formed the Fox Lake Land Company, intending to market the land of 101 lakes to African Americans. In 1924, they purchased land at Fox Lake, and the first road, or rather, dirt path, was constructed in 1927. The year after, Fox Lake's long history as an African American community began in earnest when Carl Wilson, a prominent businessman of Fort Wayne, Indiana, built the first of 3 cottages at the resort, kicking off a slow but steady and healthy growth. For African Americans, Fox Lake was a place they could call their own. It was where they could experience the joys of lake resort life without persecution.
Fox Lake, that section of Indiana where the neighbors are a little friendlier, the trees a little taller, the lake a little bluer, and the words of the Hoosier poet when he said, "Ain't God good to Indiana?" have real meaning.
Fox Lake Resort was a slice of heaven for those who vacationed there. And it wasn't an elusive slice, for if you weren't a property owner, there were other options. For example, some Fox Lakers constructed rental properties. For shorter stays, 2 thriving hotels appeared in the Green Book from 1958 until the last issue in 1967. Pryor's Country, operated by Albert and Hazeline Pryor, and the Marfran Motel, operated by Harry Marcus Fleming and Francis Fleming. Perhaps he even came with a club, which wasn't uncommon. One club, in fact, did that every summer, according to the daughter of Hazeline Pryor.
And they would come up every summer for probably...
There's a bring your own bottle arrangement too.
Yeah.
Except
so they
for
brought the bus, but not that much luggage. It was usually cases of beer and scotch and whatever.
Yep. Your mom and dad provided soft drinks from Pokagon.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so they would come up and they would swim and fish and play horseshoes and lawn tennis and badminton and bowling and just because archery, they had all that stuff to set up out in the yard, and they'd play cards, or then they would have in the one room that had the shuffleboard, we'd set the tables up there, and we had the long tables that fit the 30 people, and then Mom had a kitchen downstairs too that she could cook there instead of taking it all down the stairs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they would just entertain themselves. Sometimes they could get a little rowdy, but nothing bad. They just,
get drunk and get loud.
Yeah, that was the extent of it. And then there was a terrace to the south that they had umbrellas and chairs set up, and night maybe they'd play music or something.
And a little patio configuration.
And they'd dance, and then they'd laugh, and they were always having a good time.
Fox Lake was a resort for all ages, so there were many activities for children. Many of them were sponsored by the Fox Lake Property Owners Association, such as craft classes. They also developed a swimming and safety instruction program for those who didn't know how to swim, a possible reality for those who may have been excluded from other swimming opportunities. Through that course, you could graduate as a competent swimmer, or as they were known then, sharks and sharkettes. Once at that point, and because of a community where everyone looked out for each other, you could pass the time like Robert Newburn did as a child, doing things like swimming, exploring, and spending time in the Marfrance Recreation Building.
Now, we were lucky because where our cottage is, my grandmother could see us. She could walk out onto the porch and see us and call our names to come home for lunch. And she would just tell us, "You coming to eat lunch? No excuses. And between lunch and dinner, be back for dinner at 6 or whatever time dinner was." Other than that, we had free reign of the entire lake all day long. So if we weren't in the water swimming all day, we were walking around the resort, just being kids. I was a kid who loved nature. I still do. I was a Girl Scout, like I mentioned. So I'm always on the hunt for things like snakes and snails and frogs and turtles. And so we would catch things. We would fish. My grandfather loved to fish. He taught us how to fish with bread dough balls, or as he called them, night crawlers. We would dig them up. He would pour water on the soil in our backyard, and crack of dawn, he'd go for the shovel and get these big juicy night crawlers, and he would take us fishing down there. Or when we got good enough at it, we would go by ourselves and spend a little time fishing. He taught us how to clean the fish, gut them and clean them. We'd bring them home. And then sometimes we would just go down to the beach. It's perfect at night if there's a full moon to be down there, and it just lights up the whole beach. And we would just sit on the pier and dangle our legs in the water and just talk trash like kids do.
Fox Lake Resort was not self-sustaining, which necessitated venturing into the nearest town, Angola, to buy groceries, where there was sometimes a degree of uneasiness. What was it like when you had to go to Angola?
Somewhat uneasy, but, being respectful. I stayed, in my lane and they stayed in their lane. But you get certain looks. It's kind of like, why are you here? But, we do what we have to do to maneuver in society. Not only in Steuben County, but in America, we maneuver.
However, others sometimes faced more.
There was one time my mother had company, and they went to town to Bassett's restaurant. They walked in and they sat at the booth like we usually did in the front window, and the waitress came over and said she couldn't sit there because the other lady was with her, and it sounded to me like she must have been quite dark, and they didn't want them sitting in the front window. And my mother said, "I'm not going to move. I have every right to sit here, and we're going to have our lunch, and then we'll go." And the waitress went back, I guess, and told the owner, I think. And they came out, and Mom said the same thing to them, but she was very pleasant about it because my mother never yelled or did anything like that. And she sat right there, and they had their lunch, and they got up and left.
Moreover, while that incident occurred outside of Fox Lake, the resort itself was not a complete refuge from the worry of racism. For there was an active Ku Klux Klan chapter in Steuben County. Some were always wondering if there'd be an incident someday. However, it seems for Fox Lake vacationers, if there were any encounters with racism, they were few and far between. What was Fox Lake known as to the Steuben County community when you were growing up a mere half a mile away?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but in general, I think Fox Lake was, as I said, it was the Black Lake. That's where the Black people had houses.
It was as though there was an informal agreement. African Americans could have Fox Lake Resort undisturbed so long as the rest of the county remained in the ownership of the whites. While the situation was certainly not ideal, Fox Lake Resort nonetheless offered a haven where African Americans could be themselves. What does the Green Book mean to you today?
It means an opportunity for all. Not only, to be exempt because of your heritage or the color of your skin. It's available to everyone. And the Green Book made it possible.
Similarly, what does the Marfrand mean to you today?
A place of relaxation, a place where people came together as families and friends to enjoy Fox Lake itself. It was like just a good community for swimming, fishing, relaxation, socializing. And the motel, afforded people that did not have houses on the lake. I even took a couple of my high school girlfriends up with me, and we had a ball.
The Green Book defied Jim Crow segregation, opening a world of travel and vacationing to African Americans. One of its many locations, Fox Lake Resort, a destination that would come to hold a special place in the hearts of many, gave African Americans one of Steuben County's 101 lakes, and thus the world of lake life.